Hey everyone, this is Christina.
And this is Emma.
And we are
the Spooky Babes Club.
Show me your dark side. I've been waiting in the shadows. Let me see your pretty eyes. Dilate wide, then fade away. Show me your
Hey
dark
everyone,
side.
welcome back to the Spooky Babes Club. We have a special guest joining us today. Her name is Lilly. Hi Lilly.
Hey, Lily. Thanks for being here.
Guys, thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited. So we were going to try and plan something today for this, but we're just going to kind of go off the fly. We're going to talk about some spooky shit today. And yeah. So Lily is me, Christina's one of my other best friends. And initially, a few years ago, we had wanted to start our own little podcast YouTube channel.
She always brings this up.
Just for the record. And so, we are bringing it to a full circle today. Where's my vape?
Where your vape at, girl?
Yeah. Anyways, so we're going to talk about some stuff. Oh, here it is.
So, yeah, today we're talking about paranormal shit.
Yeah.
So, you guys have done quite a bit of paranormal investigating amongst yourselves, right?
Just like a very full amount of ghost hunting. Nothing too major. It's more just like it's an interest of ours. She's absolutely done more than I have.
Okay.
She was like YouTube famous for it.
No.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. No.
On the Haunted Travel channel, isn't that right?
Yeah, the Haunted Travel
Yeah.
Channel.
I think you have Bat Facts on there.
Oh, yes, the Bat Facts.
Lots of bad facts.
So maybe we start. I'd like to know what made y'all get into paranormal. What was something that happened that you're like, oh shit, that's wild. What does that even mean? Lily? What was an instance that happened?
I would say I grew up in a very religious household, heavily Christian, which is, cool, rock and roll. But for me personally, I always had weird experiences. Even I remember being really little and weird things just happening. I remember moving into a house one time and I remember hearing someone in heavy boots walking across the ceiling, or hearing people having a whisper argument in the closet. And I would be telling my parents, I'm hey, I think something's going on. And they're like, no, that's not how that works.
How old were you?
I was probably 7.
Oh.
But I remember stuff before then, but it's not real clear memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Yeah, just weird little things, and my parents would be like, "No, that's nothing. You're crazy."
When you knew.
When I knew something was weird, but
Yeah.
they were like, "But our religion says that's not how that happens." So
yeah.
So
dismissive.
yeah, but still awesome. My mom loved paranormal everything, but she never believed, I think, that it was real. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so,
it couldn't happen to you.
no. And so, I would be hey, this weird thing happened. I saw a shadow of a man walk by the window, but it's, dark outside. How are you seeing shadows? And she'd be like, it's nothing. And I'm it's either, I was going to say a pervert. It's either a freak of nature person out there.
Which is quite concerning.
Yes. or it's a shadow person. But my mom was always pretty interested in this stuff, but she tried to kind of keep it out of our, I guess we didn't have nightmares. It just only piqued this interest in me and all my sisters.
Right.
And because of our experiences, because they've had stuff happen too.
Okay.
Because of that, we're all super into it.
So at least you had them to talk about.
I did.
Okay.
And, do Ouija boards with, and when we were kids.
Exploring all the things.
When we were kids.
Yeah.
My sister Leah has been the one that had the most experience with it, but she's also, I remember being 13 and she would climb into my bed in the middle of the night, and I was in a twin bed, and I'm a teenager, and I just feel this weight come over me, and I'm what are you doing in my bed? And she's I saw something reach its hands up at the end of my bed and wave at me. And she was so scared. She would just jump and then run in my bed. She'd be please don't kick me out. I'm really scared. And so I would just be okay. And then I put my arm back and she would hold it and then we'd just pass out.
Oh, bless it. That would be terrifying.
We all had scary stuff happen in places that we've lived. But then again, it's probably the Ouija boards and stuff.
Oh yeah, you don't know what comes through.
Yeah, because we didn't really know. It was just we saw The Craft, or we watched, and we were just they do witchcraft, and we did light as a feather, stiff as a board, and dancing. And so we were like, oh, this is probably fine. We were kind of, I think, dealing with stuff we had no idea that we were dealing with.
Yeah.
Not in reality.
I think in our time, like, doing, like, Ouija board stuff and researching all that kind of stuff was kind of just fun. I don't know, it was fun, but did everybody do that kind of stuff? Because I feel like everybody I know did that kind of stuff.
Right? It wasn't just us, like all of our friends.
And similar story to like your sister coming into your room when she saw something reach over the end of the bed like that. Mm-hmm. My cousin, she was staying at my house once. I was 13, so she was about 11. It's just the same age that you guys
Interesting.
were. Yeah, and so she was staying over the night at my house, and this was like when AIM and like Yahoo Messenger was like,
the thing. Yeah, the thing to do.
And so I was talking to my friends online, and she was saying that she was tired, and it wasn't like that late. It was like 10, and she wanted to go to bed, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, finish up here, and I'll be in the room. And so I go back into the room, and this is when I had one of those super colorful, like, disco lights that would rotate. Oh, those were they were so cool. So my room was all lit up and stuff, but she kept saying she was scared. We were also writing a scary movie script that night. So.
Okay, so our little spooks. Okay.
So maybe, I don't know. We had to share my twin-size bed. I'm laying in bed, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and she's standing on the edge of my bed, just, like, staring at the wall.
On the bed? She's standing on the bed?
At the edge. Like, she's standing on the floor, but facing the bed towards the wall. And so I'm in between.
Oh, so you look at her and she's staring over the top of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, Ashley, what? And she's just staring. She's not responding to me. So I'm like, sleepwalking or sleep standing? I don't know. So I'm like, Ashley, are you okay? What's wrong? And I kind of like shake her, and she like collapses on the bed and starts crying.
Whoa.
Like she broke out of something. It was really weird. And I was like, it's okay, what's wrong? And she pointed, like she's scared. And she points to the end of my bed, which is kind of by my bedroom door. And she's pointing that way, like she's having trouble putting into words what she saw. And she eventually is like, there is a woman sitting on your legs in black. And she said that she had something if I came with her. And I told her I didn't want to go with you. I don't want to go with you. I'm scared of you. You're scaring me. And so the woman told her, well, fine, then I'll just have a different present for you when you wake up. And I was just like, that's a funky ass dream. What? It's just a dream, right? Yeah.
That's so scary.
But in the morning, she woke up and she did have a fever. Like, she ended up being sick the next day.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so did she see the things because she was sick, or was she sick because she saw the thing?
Like, the thing made her sick.
Yeah.
That was the gift.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's weird.
Freaking
But
weird.
a lot of weird stuff always happened with my cousins. Like, she was always smaller than me. Obviously, she's 3 years younger than me. There would always be weird stuff. Like, she would always be casual about it. Like, oh, I always sleep under my covers because I see black shadows coming out of the walls, and I want to ignore them, so I just sleep under my comforter. But like, super casual about it. Like, this is her way of dealing with it. Oh. Like, nobody would believe her. Like, she said they would just walk out of the walls and disappear before they would get to her bed.
Folks who don't know Christina, I don't know if she attracts things, but things like her. And so anytime you go like anywhere with her to do something like ghost hunting or something like this, things are happening. And so I think maybe it's a family thing, because you are hella sensitive, so she must be too. Creepy.
Maybe there's some mediums in my ancestry.
Yeah, that would make, you do witchy shit. That would make sense.
No. Oh, as soon as I knew that there was anything like that, as soon as I saw the movie The Craft, I was like, those are my people.
Yeah, like it made sense to you.
Yeah, I was like, that is some cool, I want about that.
Yeah.
Alternative kind of religion.
Yeah.
Like
the Wicca aspect of it? Oh, okay, so you got into that and you're like, this resonates.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to learn anything I could, and there wasn't a whole lot that you could find on legitimate websites about stuff like that.
Right.
In that time.
Yeah.
Sure, not at that time, yeah.
No.
It was very...
It was, you go to the library and you go in the section, like the occult section and so, yeah. But when you went over there, it was like the forbidden section. Yeah. So you kind of got looked at weird and the library, like, why are you looking at that stuff? Like, but the curiosity peaks, and that's the only place you could find it. Or like half price books. had like that section. I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
What is-
I would like print off any information I could find. I would keep it in a binder, and I would like print off spells and keep them in little pages and stuff like that.
You baby witches don't understand the
The
struggle. We walked so you could run. Thank your Google. Seriously.
Yeah, and I would tell my parents, I'm like, I need a pink candle, I need a purple candle. I need
They're
a
like,
green
we're so
candle.
specific.
Because aesthetics.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
because every
just
color
need
of
it.
candle
Yeah.
you would use for a different kind of
reason.
spell.
Right. but they wouldn't understand
No.
that. It's aesthetics.
There's, like,
yeah.
What about you, Emma?
Oh my god. Okay, so I always had like weird things happen to me when I was growing up too. So like I'd always hear my name in the wind. Like if I'm out, if I'm in like, when I'd be out in nature too. We used to have these horses that were down the road from our house, and so I'd go walking down the street and I'd hear it, and it would like capture me. I'd be like, that's specific, like the way it captured me. So I'd always been kind of sensitive in that aspect. It wasn't until my cousins lived in Illinois and they moved down here and got a house here in Spring. They had said it was haunted. Like things were happening to my cousins and stuff, but I never had anything up to that point really kind of entice me when it came to paranormal stuff. So I would go stay with them in the summers. And one weekend, my aunt was out. She was young and living her life, you know, being a bad bee. So she was out and
I
about.
support that.
Yes, straight up. And so we would be left to our own vices. We'd be at the house. It'd just be me and my cousins, and we'd be chilling. Well, this house, it was 2 stories, and there was something just eerie about it. I don't know what, it was a brand new build. Okay. So it wasn't like an old house. And so the upstairs had like a narrow stairway up to the top part, and there was a window, and the street light would come in from the window. On the very left, like immediate left, was my cousin Zach's room. And then on the right hand side was the game room. And then my other cousins had the other 2 rooms on the other side. But it was a really vast game room. It was just big. Big
sure.
in an uncomfortable, weird way. So one night, it was like late. I want to say it was at least midnight, 11:30 midnight. And I had to go upstairs to go get my charger, and it was in my cousin Jordan's room. So the stairs went up to the top, and then you round the corner, there's the game room, and at the very end of the hallway was her bedroom. So I kind of had to round all these corners. Well, I go walking up the stairs, and I have my eyes are looking down, but I feel something just peering on me, like staring. And I was like, what is that? And then I get halfway up the stairs, and I look up, and there's a figure hanging outside of my cousin's room right there on the left. And it was solid because the light that was coming through the window was stopped. Like it cast on the back of that shadow. Yeah. So I immediately, and it was red eyes, like red, creepy. And I was like, I just jumped from the middle of the stairs. I jumped all the way to the bottom. I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to I don't need it that bad. I come rushing out of there. My cousins are in the living room watching a movie, and they're like, what's up? I couldn't even say.
Well, I wonder, like, what was the house built on?
Okay, so to circle around, my youngest cousin Morgan would see this figure, and she call
Morgan.
Morgan. Okay. She call it Blackie because it had long dreads.
No.
It had long dreads, and it was dark figure. Yeah, black figure. And it would come into her room and sit with her in her bedroom. God. And she would get freaked out by it and go stay and sleep with my aunt. That's what this figure kind of looked like. It was like hair hanging, you know what I mean? Like when it was peering, there was just like, ugh.
You could see hair
Sounds
in the
crazy.
shadow.
Usually.
Yeah, like dreads.
From what I've known, like a black figure like that, I've never seen any features like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I definitely see a figure. I've seen a figure, like a humanoid figure.
Yeah.
Shadowy figure.
Yeah.
But not with hair. That's interesting.
Yeah. Like dreadlocky type hair. Well, come to find out, they ended up having like a medium come by. Mm-hmm. And where that place was built used to be a plantation, that whole subdivision. Oh. So they're thinking it was like voodoo. It was like a voodoo
or
that came through.
Were buried there.
Yeah, or buried.
She's still there.
Yeah, or they just like left the graves there, because that happens a lot too, where people don't like exhume the graves, they just pave right over them.
Oh, absolutely.
So they had to exercise, the environment and stuff, and that's a whole creepy long story. But they were in that house for over a year. I think it was probably 2 years they were in that house, and they had weird shit like that happen all the time.
That is crazy.
Up until they dealt with it, they were like, what is going on? Like, this is weird.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
So like you said, the shadow figure on the stairs, I wonder if there's something like hallways and stairs? Is it just because they're
Narrow?
long and creepy? I don't know.
I don't know.
But okay, so Lily and I used to be neighbors. That's how we met.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know. Okay, got it. All makes sense now. Okay.
Okay, well, Lily and I were neighbors, and we started talking about, you know, this kind of spooky stuff. I would tell her there's this weird feeling that I get in the hallway. So we had one bathroom, there were 2 bedrooms, and I would be sitting in the living room and I would just feel like, you know, like something's looking at you, like someone's watching you.
Yeah.
But Casey was always at work, and so it would always just be me and Kylan. Kylan was a baby, and I would feel like something's peeking from
the master bedroom.
Yeah,
Or the bedrooms or something.
So there's like a corner. So you go down the hallway, and there at the end of the hallway was Kylan's room, and then turn the corner, and then right next to it was our room. But you couldn't see into our room. There was
Okay.
a corner. And so I would always feel like something would be hiding behind that wall, peeking.
Yeah.
And like I would just catch myself looking there all the time and feeling like something was watching me. And so I'd be like, hey, like, can you just not spook me? Because I'm not, I can feel you're watching. It got to the point where I had to like acknowledge.
Like you're getting on my
You're
nerves.
freaking me out.
Yeah.
Can you stop watching me or something? Because even at some point I would be like bathing Kylan in the bathroom, which was in that hallway. And I would leave the door open to the bathroom. And, you know, I'm facing into the bathtub and Kylan's
And you're
playing in the
back.
bath.
Yeah.
And Kylan would look out into the hallway. And I'd be like, what is it, child? Go away.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and so I was telling Lily that there's like something, I feel like there's something in the hallway that's giving me the creeps. And then
I did do that. So I had moved into the apartments. I think I moved in before you and Casey moved in. So we moved into this upstairs apartment. My son was really little. When we first moved in, the layout of my apartment was like exactly the same as she described. It was they were both upstairs right next to each other. And I used to... Same building, right next to each other. These apartments are right next to each other.
Y'all were literally next door neighbors.
Wait. No,
there
that's
was
not
one
true.
in between
One in
us.
between. So I was like sitting there, and when we first moved in, I kept smelling this really rancid smell, like really gross smell from the closet. And I thought it was just being paranoid. And I was like, ew, maybe it's something gross. Maybe the old people that rented here, they left something.
We did have bats.
There were bats in the attic, but it was this really gross smell, but it ended up going away. That's the only reason I didn't think it was that. So I was sitting there, and I remember like looking down the hall. We just moved in. It was like the first week, and I kept getting really creeped out from the hallway. And I had this recliner, and the TV was against the wall, and to the left of the wall was the hallway that went down into the bedrooms. I could have sworn I kept seeing someone walk back and forth in the master bedroom out of the corner of my eye. When I looked directly, I didn't see anything. But out of the corner of my eye, I could see something moving. And every time I'd look, it would stop. Well, I thought I was just being paranoid, but I tell baby daddy. And he kind of blew me off. Well, he was laying in bed one day with the baby, and they were taking a nap. It was like middle of the day, and they passed out for a nap. And he said he woke up because he felt like someone was watching him. Well, in the doorway was like a dark outline of a man standing there. It looked so solid. He yelled out. He said, "Hey!" And he went to look at the baby to make sure the baby was okay. And he was about to get up and fight, and this thing was just gone.
Whoa.
He was terrified. And this is like a super logical dude. He's not prone to like emotional, or like mental illness or like anything like that. And I was like, I've been feeling that too. And so eventually we moved out of that apartment and moved downstairs. Yeah, catty corner from where Christina and Casey moved into. So she was, we made friends or whatever.
So that all happened before I met her.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We didn't even know each other yet.
Yeah. So she comes down, and this is like when we're getting, we've gotten to know each other, but she's just like, hey, have you ever had anything weird happen? Because she was just kind of talking about it. She was just like, this is kind of, and I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, this is what happened to me up there. And she was like, nuh-uh. And I was like, you can go ask baby daddy right now.
Yeah.
I was like, he'll tell you his side of the story, because it scared him.
Yeah.
Like, we were terrified up there. And so when we moved, everything was fine. But I always wondered if anybody who lived in that apartment, like I asked the lady that lived there recently, and she's like, no, I never had any weird feelings, but that doesn't mean anything. She goes, I was out at work a lot, so I just came home, passed out, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we have this other person that moves in right in between those two apartments. So me and Christine have talked about it. We laughed about it. We bonded. We're best friends. And we're hanging out all the time. Really cool chick that lives upstairs. Let's call her Lizzie. So her and her husband move upstairs. And one time she comes down, and I don't remember if you were there that time when she first came down and brought it up. But I think it might have just been me, and she like came down and we were chatting. She goes, I have the weirdest creeped out feeling in the hallway in the apartment. She goes, I feel like something's watching me. I don't know what's going on. And I was like, shut up. Are you serious? She was like, I've had the same experience up there, and Christine has had the same experience up there. All 3 of those apartments.
They share a hallway.
Oh.
But we never heard, it's not like we heard anything. It was specifically seeing this.
And feeling like that creepy feeling. We all got really close. I think this incident was like what sealed our friendship, because we were all just terrified together about it.
Bonded in fear. Love it.
How long did it go on for you? Because it stopped after I moved. After I moved to that downstairs apartment, I never had...
I was in that top apartment until we moved out, but I constantly would feel something there. Eventually, I would just ignore it because I did not want to give it too much acknowledgement.
Interesting.
To feed it. But it was really, really prevalent when we first moved in there. Because even when I was still pregnant with Kylan, because we moved in there when I was like 7 or 8 months pregnant, and I remember telling Casey like I had a weird feeling about the hallway, and we were laying in bed, and you know when you're laying in bed with your partner and you're just kind of like talking a little bit before you
pillow
fall
talk,
asleep.
sure.
Yeah, but it was at the point where we were just kind of starting to like fall asleep, like in between falling asleep and talking. And I was facing the closet, and I felt, you could hear it too, an exhale, a giant exhale of warm breath.
Gross.
Right over me.
Whoa.
And I freaked out, and I flipped over Casey to his side of the bed, and he said, I didn't have to say a thing. He said, "What was that?" And I was like, "You heard that?" I didn't know if he had like fallen asleep yet or not, but I was like, I could feel it. I could feel warm breath.
Ew.
On me, like it was huge and like high. It scared the crap out of me, and it was... I mean, it's Texas. It's not like we had the heat on or anything.
Right,
you know what I mean? And no. Freaked me out, and we switched sides of the bed after that, and he was like, "Yes, I will sleep on this side of the bed from now on." And he totally did. That was it. Never again. It never happened, but it never happened again after that.
Weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was scary.
Like, I wonder if other people were experiencing it and just like...
blowing it off, like pretending it wasn't really happening.
Yeah, just kept, ignoring it. And it wanted to be known.
I thought I was crazy. And then Christina said she did it. And then Lizzie,
Mm-hmm.
same thing. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This
and
is
the
like...
fact that we had such similar experiences,
Yes.
and we were all living in apartments that were literally right next to each other. And
Same
the
building.
Yeah.
Same building right next to each other.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, that's
I don't know,
wild.
man. It's too much. It's too much to really dismiss that it was nothing. It never did anything.
Mm-mm. Us either.
It never interacted. It's like it was just watching, like observing.
Interesting.
And leering. It just, I don't know.
I tried to do some research to see about deaths in those apartments.
Okay, thank you. My next question.
And the only thing I could find was that a child had died like 20 years ago or something, and that was it. But this was like, this apparition or whatever this was like a full grown man, maybe even taller than average, maybe taller than 6 feet. It was just
So do you think it could have been like a sentient being, like maybe not of this realm?
You know,
because it's not interacting.
For me, it was like you said that James says it's solid.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw it was not black. It's kind of like a dark gray, but it almost had like an aura around it.
Interesting. See, that's interesting.
But full on,
it's like an
human
energy
shape.
Yes. He said it was a grown man. He goes, it was a grown man standing in that doorway. And he goes, I looked at the baby to make sure that no one had grabbed the baby or something because he was scared. He said, I looked, and then he goes, I was rolling up to go fight whoever had broken into the house. Mm-hmm. And this thing was just gone. He said he ran to the door was locked, sliding glass doors were locked. He didn't know how someone got in. And I said, you remember I've been telling you that this is my experience. It scared the crap out of him.
Wow.
He was no longer a non-believer.
Yeah. Wow.
You get slapped in the face with it like that, you're scared of your child. You're scared something's going to hurt your child.
Yeah.
And Casey's super logical too. And so when I talk about this kind of stuff with him, he's whatever. But he cannot deny that he heard the breath. The fact that you could hear and feel the breath blows my mind. It gives me the chills.
I know. The story gave me the chills.
Yeah, that's so creepy.
So creepy.
Like, I feel like it was like a humanoid, like some sort
Yeah.
of like sentient being.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't like a, you know, like a haunting
No.
or like demonic.
No, it didn't have that kind of feeling.
No.
I think you were just more creeped out because it wasn't supposed to be there. Like,
Yeah.
you were
Right.
just like, this is just my space. What are you doing
Yes.
here?
It
Yeah.
felt
Being
invasive,
watched. Yeah.
but not
Not-
manipulating.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Manipulating.
like it didn't change the temperature in the room or anything.
Yeah.
There wasn't any touching. I never felt like...
It wanted to be known that it was there,
Yeah.
and it wanted to watch.
Just see.
A very voyeuristic pervert. Higher being or whatever.
That's
God.
wild.
Except yours. You
Mine
said
was
had
not.
the hair, and
Yeah.
you the red eyes. Mm-mm.
No.
No,
It
thank-
was. That was not okay. There was nothing okay about that. I mean, not saying that your experience wouldn't be creepy. That would be creepy as shit. But it's not like malevolent.
Yeah.
It wasn't like trying to harm you.
Yeah,
This felt like it was like, hey, I'm here. Try me.
yeah,
It's like, no, thank you.
yeah.
No, hard pass. No thanks.
I would have been terrified in
Yeah.
that
It
situation.
was not.
Yeah.
But after that, that's when, whenever I saw that or whatever, I was like, okay, what does this mean? Like, what do I do with this information that I have now embedded in my brain? And so that's when Ghost Adventures started to come out. And Ghost Adventures started to happen. I was like, okay.
Man, I used to just binge that.
Me too.
stuff.
Oh,
Me too.
so hard.
Oh,
And-
sick from school.
yeah.
What's his name? Zach?
Zach Bagans.
I used to think he was so hot, and now I'm
Me
an adult.
too.
Now I'm an adult. I think he's cringe.
He's so.
He looks like, no offense. No, I mean,
Offense.
he looks like, a douchey frat boy.
Yeah, well, and when he was like early on, he had that hair that he
Mhm.
slicked down and he like flipped in the front. Like, bro, you look like a douchebag. You
Yes.
just don't even. And then you're poking at entities like, "Come get me!"
Yeah,
and you're
come
like,
on.
there's a respect when it comes to like the paranormal, even with like evil entities, because you don't want them to come take over your life. You know, you
Right.
gotta like give some.
Like, I'm all about, like, you want to communicate with them, acknowledge them,
yeah,
and if they have anything to say,
yeah.
but don't piss them off.
don't piss him off.
You're
And
asking for it.
Yeah, and he
was-
learned.
He
For
was trying.
content.
He was trying to get a reaction, so he had
Yes.
something to show.
Yeah.
For the episodes.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
his whole thing was he had rented a apartment. I think it was in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in where a real hyperactive metropolitan area over in California. In his apartment, he had a woman haunting his apartment, and that's what piqued his interest in in paranormal stuff. And he wanted to prove that paranormal was a thing because he would tell everybody about it and be like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But something happened in his apartment that made it profound for him. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been following those guys since the beginning. So
Me
it's
too.
like, yeah,
Wait, what's his sidekick's name? The one that's still there?
Aaron.
Aaron. I love him.
I love Aaron.
My heart
Yes.
is with Aaron. I love Aaron.
Yeah.
And he's like so, and like, I feel like he gets still terrified, and I love that for him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes,
It
baby,
makes it
chase that high.
authentic,
You know?
Yes.
Because Zach was just like, I feel something coursing through me. He's
Yeah.
like picking up rattlesnakes. Do y'all remember that episode?
Yeah.
Am I crazy? He's like, oh, that was a rattlesnake. Something's
Oh
like
my
in
God.
me doing this. And I'm like, shut up. You sound like an idiot right now.
Oh, I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm recording this and I'm going to show you this. Like the Jinko jeans thing. I'm recording this. I'm going to show you this when you grow up.
So we can reflect.
So we can all reflect on what you did and the choices you made, Zach. Oh. I just find it so interesting what happens after we leave here.
Yeah, I know. Like, what does it really
I
entail?
know, yeah. Like, I don't want to find out, but I kind of want to know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not
I
quite ready to
feel-
find
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I'm not
You
ready to
guys-
go, but
You guys watched the movie The Other Kidman?
Terrifying. Absolutely.
And her
no.
kids, and they lived, it was like the 20s, they lived in the big house.
Her husband.
Oh, if you haven't seen that movie, you should watch that movie, because I feel like that
Oh, it was so creepy.
is,
The other.
I don't want to give it away.
Do you want us to spoil it?
Yeah, please do, because
But
Scary
what if
movies
you
scare me,
just wanna
okay?
if you don't want
I
this movie
can't.
spoiled, if you haven't seen the others and you want to watch it, don't want to have spoilers, skip past this. I don't know.
But it was like literally 15 years ago, so get it together.
Yeah, come on.
it's me. I have to get it together.
She's okay. She's okay.
So Nicole Kidman plays a character like the 20s, 30s.
It's something like that. Her
Maybe
husband,
the 40s. Shoot, they go to war. He
her
goes
husband,
to war.
yeah, her
And they're waiting for him to get back. It's just her and her kids, and they have like a staff in this huge house.
Okay,
And
I'm listening. I'm just looking it up.
so she has like this housekeeper. She's an older lady, and she's trying to tell her like oh, we've come to work here for the house. Like we saw your wanted ad that
Okay.
you needed a housekeeper. So she's like, oh, okay, great, cool.
Cool.
Staff.
Thanks for being here.
Staff. And they start, like, experiencing creepy things happening.
Like weird,
Like,
happenings,
an important thing to note is the kids have that disease where if sunlight hits their skin, they're, like, allergic to sunlight.
Okay, so they're little
So
vampires.
They can't go outside.
Okay, got
and
it.
they have to keep all the curtains drawn all the time. And the first thing that happens is the blinds open.
The curtains
and
are
the
all
kids
open
are
in the entire
freaking
house.
out, and she's freaking out like it's gonna hurt my kids. Who opened the blinds? Why would you open the blinds? She thinks the staff did it. You can't open the blinds. The sunlight hurts them. And she's like, they'll be fine. And she's like, no, literally, like it'll hurt my kids. She thinks that they're being like
they're being blasé about her children's health. Like she's upset.
like they're testing. It's like she thinks that they're testing her too.
Mhm.
Like, listen to me. Like, it's not a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other things, creepy things happen. Like, she walks into a room and her daughter's, like, got this veil over her playing with a doll. And she goes up to her, but it's, like, super creepy. And she goes to look at her and she turns around and it's this old woman's face.
Ugh.
Like a creepy old woman's face.
On the baby face?
Instead of the little girl.
Ugh.
And she's like, what the? It's so creepy. You have to watch a movie. And this is how, in my opinion, I feel like it's a super, I don't know. And it's before all the Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, if you have
stories
any
were big.
interest in paranormal, like watch
It's a good, it's a
so
good
terrifying.
movie. But it turns out, spoiler alert,
So good.
that she had killed herself and her kids.
Whoa.
And so they are actually stuck in limbo. They are haunting this house. And the people that are now living in this house are trying to speak with them. And the old woman is a medium who was in the girl's...
No, the little girl jumped into her. She
Yes.
said the little girl had like come into her body multiple times.
Yeah.
when they were trying to
Interesting.
Oh, it gives me shivers.
I know, I
about
just
it.
got
Yeah,
chills.
me too.
Whoa.
It's
That's
so
cool.
Good. It's so good. So they thought that their house was being haunted, but they were actually haunting the new people in the house.
Wow.
It's very, very interesting. And
terrifying.
yeah, and terrifying and sad because
The
then you
kids
realize
knew.
like they are in that house forever and they
And the
just-
mom killed them. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It was
wild.
2001. That's when it was out.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like,
Oh
wow.
wow.
2001?
That
So, like,
movie's 21 years old.
Oh my god.
Old enough to drink, baby. I love aging like a fine wine.
I don't remember the last time I watched that movie, but if you haven't watched it, I think it's definitely worth it.
Even with just like watching it, the
Yeah,
suspense is so
For
good.
sure.
Yeah.
At least now I know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's good.
Because that's what gets me about scary movies is like not knowing what to expect. And so I'm constantly feeling like I'm choking myself because I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, you know? And then it comes out and it scares the shit out of me. I don't like that feeling.
What I hate about scary movies is I hate when most of the movie's good and then the ending is just like, wait, that's how
Why?
you're gonna wrap it up? That was terrible. That was
Yeah.
a terrible ending. Like, ugh. I hate when they ruin a potentially good movie with a bad ending.
Wait,
It's
like
the
what
worst.
movie did that to you?
Oh gosh, now. Okay, so we recently did the story on Haunting in Connecticut.
Yeah, that one's
Bro.
garbage. Yeah.
Did you watch the end of that movie?
Yeah, I saw
what
that, yeah.
even was that? What even was that?
Like, what were
Dead
you
bodies lining the walls?
Really? Yeah, really?
No.
Wasn't there like a box of like eyelids in there? or
Yes,
something?
they had like cut off the eyelids.
It just looked like toenails and it disgusted me. I was done. I was like, but you can make a lot of money with those online nowadays.
God.
Yeah, that's true. Lame.
Oh, also haunting. Christine and I once went to a cemetery.
Oh yeah, we went to Martha Chapel on
Yes.
Demon Road.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It was
Like
really scary.
what part of your butt?
Like, as I said, as Christina was like, okay, let's go. And I was like creeped out the entire time. I thought a bug had landed on my top right cheek, like part.
Yeah.
And so I went to brush it off and it was still pressure and it wanted me to go.
So it's hard to find local places. I want to go visit all of these creepy places. There's not a whole lot around. So this one was super intriguing because I read up on it and the stories about this place are terrifying. They call it Demon Road for a reason.
People have had tons of experiences out there.
The ones that scare me the most are people that say they've seen bodies hanging from trees.
Oof.
Ones of what looks like a little boy, like a child, standing in the road, but his eyes are glowing red.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not a child.
And things interacting with your vehicle as you're driving down this road.
Okay.
Like hitting the windows and stuff like that. And so I was terrified to go down this road. And it's scary. It looks scary.
Yeah.
Just driving
like
down this road.
overgrown and
And it's a long road.
yeah.
And you finally get to the cemetery. It's old. It's from like the
I don't even know.
It's from like the late 1800s.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Tell them about the recliner.
There is a picture.
Tell them the recliner.
I'll tell them the recliner.
Okay.
But I want to talk about the picture.
Tell
I think that the picture's fake. I think it's fake. But it looks like a Google Earth picture.
Like
If you
kid
look
picking
at
around.
Martha Chapel Cemetery
Okay, I'm looking it up.
and look at Martha Chapel Cemetery ghost, there is a picture of what looks like a girl standing and peeking from behind a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it and it looks too good to be real.
Okay, that's creepy.
But it's creepy.
It does look too good to be real, but is there truth in it?
I know. And so that's why I really wanted to go. I was terrified.
I'm gonna look at the Google map, like the Google stream, and
Okay,
see
yeah.
if it comes up. What's it, Martha Chapel?
Martha Chapel. So Lily and I, we get there. It's already dark. We get to the main road where we have to drive down to get to the cemetery. And it's probably, like a 15-minute drive down this dirt
Yes,
road.
it took forever.
It's literally giving me chills just looking at this.
And-
I'm looking at the street.
And it just has this rickety old gate that goes to the entrance. You pull up, and we parked our car, and there's just, like, our head beams hit straight on this old recliner sat in the middle of this grass. I don't know, this recliner is probably from the 80s. And it's just sitting there in the middle of the grass, facing the cemetery like someone was sitting in it and watching the cemetery.
Creepy.
So creepy. So that's what we see when we arrive. We get in there, we start misting our bodies with sage spray.
Crystals in our titties.
Crystals in the titties, always.
Always.
For protection, y'all.
Extra protection.
And we're recording stuff, looking around. And it's really dark, though. So we're kind of being guided by our phone light. I don't know. How long were we there?
Not very long because it started to get the weather. It was already kind of overcast, so it was
yeah,
going to start
it's
raining.
right. It
Soon.
got kind of misty.
So I'd say
and
like
so
20 minutes, maybe.
Maybe 20 minutes. But past the little cemetery, it opens up to an even bigger, more recent cemetery that people still use. Like there's
What?
Yeah, there's like
New
there's-
burials and stuff like
yeah.
that out there.
and there's just a bunch of like ranches and
Oh yeah, I see that.
stuff out there. It starts misting, and so I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. Let's skedaddle.
It's time to go.
And Lily's like scooting along in front of me. And she was like, something just touched my butt. And I'm like,
I'm trying to be positive, but like move to the car.
Like not make a big deal about
and I
it.
could tell she was in a rush, but not wanting to actually sprint.
I was scared. I was scared if I overreacted, it was gonna like scratch me but it wanted me out and it touched my butt and it pushed
Like
me out.
it pushed you with its finger, like, get on out of here, girl.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like when we said we were going. It happened and I thought, like I
That
said,
is
a bug
weird,
had
yeah.
landed on me, so I went to move it and the pressure was still there.
It
and I was
wasn't
like,
a bug, yeah.
no, it was pushing me and then I started walking faster and then the pressure slowly like got
That's
off my
so
butt.
weird.
Ugh.
It wanted me out of there.
I couldn't get
But
in my
it
car
could have been
fast
something
enough.
trying to be protective. You never know. Like
You
I
never
took
know.
it as a very scary thing, but it's just like because I'm not used to that kind of like interaction.
But maybe it was
Yeah.
like,
It might have been like, you need to
should
be out of
gone.
here. This is not, because we both had like these, and not just because it was dark and it was a cemetery, because that it was like, we're both a little sensitive, I
Well,
think.
and I've been
pick
there.
up on things.
I went
Yeah.
there one other time before,
Mhm.
but I did not go when it was dark. It was still kind of light outside, and honestly, what scared me more that it was super peaceful when I went, except the bugs were terrible.
Yeah, gross.
It was spring, and all the freaking locusts and stuff were out. It was insane.
Oh yeah.
But people kept driving by the cemetery like super slow, creeping by 2 or 3 times
Weird.
to like see what we were doing.
Because it's a dead end there too.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
like the road goes all the way down to like a pasture.
Yeah, there's not a way out. You don't go
No.
anywhere else unless you live back there, like
Yeah.
a huge ranch. But I only think there's one other property.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a big gate that,
Yeah.
and so the people driving by creeped us out. I think that people that live around there are super protective of that area.
Well, I think there's probably a lot of like, while we mean no harm, I'm sure there are people that go out and vandalize
Oh, yeah.
or try to
Sure.
Well,
disrespect.
Because, like I said, that there's not a lot of places around here that are like quote haunted,
Mhm.
and so people go there a lot.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of videos on YouTube, because after I went and I looked, and there's a bunch of people that have gone on YouTube to go check this place out.
Yeah.
And yeah, people do stupid stuff. But I still would like to go and spend more time and actually have like a plan to visit again because I don't know. I think it's just interesting. The stories are too creepy to dismiss it.
Yeah.
There's so many cemeteries. You know what I mean? Why does this one have so many?
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
It was a super time.
Would you go again?
I would, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Maybe we do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
I know you said that in a funny way, but I am serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will
Totally.
record things. Me running to the car mostly.
Yeah.
I was just like in Christina's. I'm like
You
slowly
can-
power walking. I'm
She
just
was
like
taking,
tense.
You were taking longer, tense strides.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Ooh. But I was like, hurry, Christina! It's gonna start raining.
Yeah. So what's the most recent scary thing you've done, Emma?
I think the last time was when you and I went to the place over off Lake Conroe.
Oh yeah, because we just like hanging out in cemeteries, y'all.
Yeah, just for shits and gigs.
No, but really we don't. But we were just trying to be like, let's go find something spooky.
Yeah, let's go do some spooky shit. Oh, we had just gotten done at, we were on Lake Conroe. We were having
went
dinner.
to Fajita Jack's.
Yeah, we had a margarita and we're like, let's go do spooky shit. And that's what we did.
Wait, what's that?
The
I don't
mustache.
know.
Could have been.
You sent me one and I replied. I was like, the mustache! And you haven't opened it on Snap.
She's the worst about Snapchat.
I know.
I forget I even have
She
Snapchat.
forgets it's there.
I like to Snapchat. It's fun.
I like to
You
snap
two were the
and
only
chat.
people that Snapchat me. But no, yeah, that's the last thing.
That was the last thing.
Anything
too.
wild happened while you were
Oh,
out
well, we
there?
went to one place that was off Lake Conroe. I don't remember what road it was off of, but it was a cemetery that was like off the road.
Yeah.
And it was a veteran cemetery, an old school veteran cemetery. And we went walking out there, and she has her little ghost box on her phone,
Spirit box.
and we're walking around. It says,
It said
"I said
something
thank you
about-
for your service."
Yes, and it said something related to
Yeah, it said defend.
something.
I think it said defend. Or something that was like protect. It was protective.
Maybe it was protect.
Protect. Yeah, protect. Because you said something about protecting the country or whatever that they did.
Mhm.
There was a family that was buried there, and they were from like early 1900s.
Right. Well, and then it also said something about daughter, and then it said something about dark. It said some weird stuff. But
Was
I
that
think
there or was that at the Lake Conroe? Because at Lake
we
Conroe,
went to
we were...
two. We went to two.
The one off Lake Conroe, we were
That's
getting
right.
the
That
weird
was
shit.
the older first one. The one that was closer to the water.
Yeah.
That one was where that creepy tree was, where there was something trying to lure us under that tree.
Yeah, it was creep.
Guys, we need more on that.
So
You can't just say that
I
and
know.
just
Okay.
not act.
Well, first, I just realized that. Okay, it was by the water, and water is supposed to be
Yeah.
a high conductivity.
Yes.
And my little radar thing, it kept going off.
Yeah.
Like spiking when we were over there.
Yes.
But the cemetery itself was really nice.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
smaller. It was really nice. It had like a rock circle drive.
It was literally in the middle of a neighborhood.
Right.
Like an established neighborhood.
Right. And it had like a few trees, but there was this one huge tree right in the center
Yeah.
towards the back.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were walking around, and there was something that kept me like from walking around too much. I didn't want to stray off of the path.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept saying something like, at first it was like daughter and mother protect, like, so it was saying something.
Yeah.
But the further we got to the center, it stopped spiking, but it was saying dark word. You know when you like look a certain way and you're just like, I don't know, that spot over there under that tree
Yes.
is giving me really creepy vibes. I don't want to go anywhere.
And I was like
that
getting
way.
entranced by it. I was like, I want to know what's
You
over
wanted
there.
to go over there.
I
and
was very
like,
much intrigued. I was freaked out by it, but there was something that was pulling me that was more, come figure out what this is.
And normally I would be like, yeah, okay, let's go check it out.
yeah, and you weren't.
I was like,
you were very much like,
absolutely
you ready to
no.
get in the car now? I was like, yeah, probably. We
Let's
should
just
probably
go. There was something weird about that area.
Yeah, it was creepy. It was a weird. I don't remember what words it was saying. I know it said daughter. It said something about death, but I don't remember if it was
Yeah,
like
it
death
did say
or
something like death.
killed or
Kill. It
Yeah.
did say kill.
Yeah, it
said
did because we
dark.
were like, what the shit?
Yeah, it said like dark and kill, and I
Yes.
was like,
But there could be multiple things speaking.
Exactly, you're at a
yeah.
cemetery.
And that's what we thought
Yeah.
too.
So maybe it's like, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense because you're only catching the part of it
Yeah.
that they can...
And it was weird because I think once we started getting freaked out and we tried to go back to where it was spiking, like it stopped talking.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay.
That's a sign. We're out. So yeah, it was weird.
So what do you think about using devices like that to ghost hunt, like dowsing rods and spirit boxes?
I mean, I think it holds a lot of truth, especially at least how it's developed over the years, right? Because of Ghost Adventures, right? Because they try all out these new gadgets and stuff. I think the spirit box is, because it's over channels, it's frequency. So how I look at just life in general is all energy. And so we are on our own vibration, thus we have our own frequencies. You know, plants have their own frequency and whatnot. That's provable. To me, I can wrap my brain around that. So being able to measure that with a voice that comes through and finding that frequency, that's believable to me. Yeah. I can wrap my brain around that.
What do you think? Have you ever used any kind of device, Lily?
Ooh, and a Ouija board. You know, we've done Ouija board.
Yeah, we did the Ouija board.
I've never done dowsing rods, but not from not wanting to, just never, I guess, got around to doing it. But I mean, I think there are plenty of tools, and I think that you don't really need any of that stuff specifically. I think if you want to communicate, something will in some way. People do like pendulum stuff. You really just tie something to the end of a string and ask for yes or no. We talked about that recently. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like there's many if you're really wanting to do so. It doesn't have to be specifically those things.
I've always wanted to get some of those, just simple, like those cat balls that light up when you move them.
Yes.
I want to try and get some of those if we ever go to like a haunt,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, can you turn the flashlight on and off? It's like, move the cat ball.
Just touch the cat ball.
It's got so much power, it's turned that cat ball on and off 4 times. It's knocking it around.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I think that, like, recording devices where you can play it back, I think that's really neat. I think that has some truth in it, too.
You guys know, I don't know if both of you watched the episode that we did when we went to the plantation in Louisiana.
Yeah,
I did.
It was scary.
And
he got freaked out.
Did you see on the porch, the figure on the porch that looked up when they were walking?
I don't remember.
Oh, dude, it gave me chills. Like, I was like, oh my God. Because it looked like a girl who was sitting like this.
There was a
lot. And as they're walking up, she looked up like that.
Wasn't he?
Okay, so my cousin, which is the brother of my cousin that I had talked about earlier. Okay, he's very sensitive also, stuff like that. We went to the plantation.
Myrtles
Plantation, yes. And there's a lot going on over there. Ghost Hunters was also there before.
Yeah, Ghost Adventures.
We stayed in the same, Ghost Adventures. Yeah. We stayed in the same cabin that they stayed in where a lamp was moved. Literally, when we got there, I won't forget. I knew it was going to be insane from the moment we stepped out of the car.
Wow.
The footage that I was recording us pulling in, just pulling into the plantation on my phone. Mm-hmm. Like, he was going to get this side of entering and I was going to get this side. Mm-hmm. I was recording. And when I got out of the car and I was like, I just want to, see what it looks like, it was gone. What I had just recorded was gone.
Oh, wow.
And that happened the whole visit we had so much good stuff that we caught, and the footage was just never exists. It's like it never happened.
Wow.
It was deleting or something.
Yeah.
We would catch insane stuff and then it would just not record. It was insane. I've not had that issue with my phone ever since.
Wow.
I thought maybe it's because I had like a new phone or whatever. Nope, never had that issue since.
Well, you think about like a lot of type of ghost hunting in like high activity areas. Their batteries drain. Mm-hmm. Flashlights stop working because the batteries drain. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with cameras. It doesn't surprise me at all.
There's just so
scary, but
much.
It doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. There's so much that happened there. It's hard to wrap your mind around. It was daylight. We got there in the middle of the day. And again, I'm like, okay, we're going to try and get some footage of us here then, since I don't have any entrance footage. And I go around to the front of the building in like the big front yard. This place is like, I don't know, 6-7 acres. It's big.
Yeah.
And Brandon and his fiance go off to the other side to go like check in. And I hear kids laughing.
Oh.
And I thought a family was there with their kids playing in the yard, whatever. I look around me. Nobody's there.
Whoa.
There's only 2 other cars parked in the parking lot. One of them is a person that worked there, and the other was a couple that was staying there for the night, and they were in the house. They didn't have any kids. I heard kids laughing in the front yard. It freaked me out, and I said, okay, I'm going to go find Brandon and Lauren. That's freaking crazy. I took several pictures in that front yard, and there's a picture that I took that you can see. It's like got part of a tree in it, and you can see a dress, like the bottom half of a dress, like it's floating from a tree.
Creepy.
Creepy.
And there was one of obviously it was a plantation, terrible, but there's slaves that had been hung from that tree.
Oh my God.
That same tree.
Yeah. The guy who owned the plantation at the time, he was shot on the stairs. Like, you can do ghost tours of this place.
Yeah.
But it's insane.
That sounds like a
I have
bonus.
another picture. It's just too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's too much. There's another picture you can see clear as day. Looks like a man standing in the yard, side profile of his face. I thought it was a statue is how clear it is.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll have to show you a picture.
Hyperactive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. And I can't see it, but Brandon sees off the side, like closer to the wooded area. He's like, I can see like 5 ghosts right there in this picture.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the freaking
I'm
heck?
telling you, he's sensitive.
Yeah,
dude.
he's
it's something
super
in your
sensitive.
family. It's something in your family.
Super sensitive. We couldn't stay the whole night there. He woke us up in the middle of the night ready to go. He was terrified.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
So,
I would have been freaked out too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm saying it like real brave
but
because we're like,
the
safer
scariest
now.
thing
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
because, you know, I talked about when something makes physical contact with you and interacts with you physically, it's terrifying because you're just not ready for that. For something you can't see to touch you
Yep.
or interact with
That's
you.
what I think.
And so when we were about to sit down, you know, just a speak session, a recording session, and we're talking to the camera, just recording like normal. Recording, I say, because this footage is not in existing. It
Wow.
never happened. Sorry, I'm frustrated because
it was good stuff.
Because it happened, okay?
Quality
it happened.
content.
It didn't record. We're recording this session with the spirit box, and we don't even ask anything. We just turn that spirit box on, and it starts saying dowsing rods. Use the dowsing rods. Like it had something to say, and Brandon had the dowsing rods in a backpack he was wearing.
Oh.
And he freaked out, and he was like, absolutely not. Like, he threw the backpack off of him because it scared him. He's like, if it's so persistent for me to use those dowsing rods,
What does it want?
what does it want?
Yeah.
And because there's been like things like as a portal, I don't know, dowsing rods can, and a way for them to,
Attach.
yeah.
Okay.
And so he didn't want to risk that, and he was like, I'm gonna get rid of these dowsing rods. We realized it wasn't recording, and then we turn on the camera, which we got this on camera. We turn on the camera to explain what just happened, and we're in the middle of talking, and Brandon feels something touch up to his face and like breathe into his ear, and he ran. He ran and scared the crap out of me because I thought he saw something or that something touched him, and it did. And so I just start running. I don't want to be left there. And we're running and stomping the ground so hard. Like, I was scared, but also I was like, this is...
Like, to watch it at the
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
From like an angle, you're just like, if I see 2 people running, I'm running too.
We had to...
Yeah.
We had
I'm
to
hopping
calm
on.
Brandon down, though. Like, he felt a total invasion of his physical space. And he was pissed. He was
Yeah.
like, I said it several times, don't touch us, don't attach to us, please respect our physical, you know, we want to talk, you can move things, you can talk through the spirit box, but don't touch us, please.
Don't be disrespectful,
Yeah.
because you just be disrespectful in my ear.
Yeah, and so we had to, like, calm him down.
Yeah, that would freak me the fuck out, dude.
And then
no
it
way.
took a long time for us to finally get him to be like, it's fine. You know, we came here for this.
Yeah, literally, you signed up. This
Yeah.
is exactly what you signed up for.
But it freaked him out because
Yeah.
it was so invasive. And
Yeah.
he said it felt dark
Yeah.
and angry.
That
And-
would be hard to try to get back into the game after that. I'd
Yeah.
be like, something
Yeah.
does not want us here.
And so from that point on, though, he freaked out. But we got several pictures. There's like a, what do they call it? It's like an arch, but it's made of plants. I can't remember.
Arbor.
Yes, an arbor.
I don't know how I know that, but I
Look
do.
at your vocabulary.
I
Girl, I had nothing. I had no idea. I'm like, in an arch with plants? What are you talking about?
Yeah. And
What,
so
babe?
we were taking pictures of the property, and it's dark.
Uh-huh.
But you could see like a little boy's face peering the plants.
Oh.
wow.
Mm.
Yeah, it was creepy.
You know what? Like, well, this is what I don't understand. Why do we get so scared when we hear children? Like, as far as hauntings, why is it extra scary when it's not like some man
Because
laughing?
they're,
It's like
like,
little kids. And you're like,
Happy. I don't know.
well, it's happy, but it's like, instilled in our society, like all religions, that like I guess children are kind of innocents and
they're
move
so
on.
easy.
You know,
Yeah.
when
Right.
they move on, they're not supposed to be in this place, and maybe it's a little terrifying for us because what if they exist in the plane right next to ours? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My
Like, we just
thing-
don't. It's not what we think it should
My
be.
thing is, if you see a kid,
Or is it a
like
demon?
that's the less disarming thing to see as a kid.
Yeah.
So demons will typically use something that's innocent, that's
Especially-
As a
easier
mask,
for you to
yeah.
warm up to
Especially
accept
when
their
approaching
presence.
children.
So
Yes.
they take that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why.
Yeah. Bear, my boyfriend Bear, he had an experience. He's very sensitive too. He had an experience when he was probably 6 or 7 years old. His mom would clean houses, and he lived in California. He lived in Carmel Valley, and out there it's like the sticks, you know, like in California. So he had all kinds of weird things happen, but he was in this house. His mom was cleaning it. It was like a really big house in the valley off the hill. He said he was in the bedroom and he was playing. He was playing with another kid. He knew it wasn't of this realm, but they were playing. So it was no big deal. They were playing like with all the toys and stuff. Well, then he started to get a weird feeling. Like he was like, I want to leave. I want to leave. And so he went to go get up to leave, and the door shut. And it says like, you can't leave. He's like, and then he started to scream, and his mom came in and grabbed him.
Oh my god!
But he was like, I knew then that it was not a kid. It wasn't the spirit of a kid. I knew it was like something else.
Ooh.
And I couldn't even imagine.
Got my leg,
I did
hair,
too.
growing.
Oh, dude, when he told me the story, I was like, what? Like, why were you playing with it in the first place? I'm like, you know, I'll play by
Well,
myself.
kids are innocent. You
That's
know?
true.
And
Yeah.
they just want to make
But
friends.
the fact that he picked up on something else, that this isn't the spirit of a kid.
Yeah. He
This
knew
is something
immediately
else,
that this
yeah.
was like, it was something hateful,
Yeah.
not okay.
That is so
malicious.
Do you guys watch the Paranormal Activity movies?
Mhm.
So did you guys see the third one when they're little girls?
Yeah.
That
was so
literally
creepy.
reminds me of me and my cousins so much.
Really?
Yes, well, none of that there's no furniture flying, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But like we literally would do stuff like that, like play Bloody Mary in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and talk about all that creepy stuff. But my younger cousin, she would say creepy stuff like the little girl did.
Like
Ugh.
Katie did?
Yeah, and she would tell me all this creepy stuff that she saw. And it just always blew my mind. I remember it was her 3rd birthday party, so I was like 6. And we were in her kitchen, and we were getting ready to sing happy birthday to her. And they had like a little TV on a cart, like by their kitchen. And it was off. But my cousin kept pointing to the TV and saying that there was a woman in there. And I was the
Like the
only
ring?
one. And I'm looking around. Oh no. I was
Girl,
looking at the TV. I don't know if anybody else was paying attention to her, but I'm looking at everybody and I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, what the freak is she talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just weird stuff like that.
Creepy.
And like she was scared to watch scary movies because she didn't want to be scared. I feel like she was just like, oh man, I feel like she was seeing stuff a lot when she was really little.
Yeah. Poor thing. That would be
When
terrifying.
was I? Probably 15. And she was staying at my grandma's house. My
So
grandma
creepy.
had this back room where she kept like all of her like extra quilt fabrics and just
Porcelain
wall
dolls?
to wall porcelain dolls.
Oh, they're so creepy. The eyes follow you.
She had
Oh,
cases of them, shelves of them,
Like, what?
dozens and dozens of porcelain dolls.
What-
She gave us porcelain dolls for every Christmas, every birthday. So I have a whole bunch in a Rubbermaid container in the garage.
What, you don't want to hang them in the room?
Casey's
No.
like,
Oh my
no,
God.
no dolls, and I'm like, I understand.
There are a bunch of dolls. I'm dipping out.
Yeah. Hard
I'm not gonna
pass.
stick around.
No.
Oh.
So my cousin had to sleep in this room. This is where her bedroom was. She had to share it with all of these porcelain dolls. And I had a dream that I was walking in the yard of my grandma's house. And I was looking for my dog. And it makes sense. I was looking for my dog because my dog that I had kept there, she passed away. And I remember looking for her, walking around the yard, and looking to the window of where that doll room was. And seeing a little face in the window and being like, must be a doll. That's creepy. Like, it gave me the creeps. But it
In your
wasn't-
dream, it gave you the creeps.
Yes, in my dream, it gave me the creeps. I was like, that's
Ugh.
weird. Like, she doesn't position her dolls to look out the window.
Right.
But it wasn't like a scary dream. It was just like weird,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I told my cousin Ashley about it. And she told me that she had a dream that she was looking out that window watching me walk around the. So we had like
Whoa, that's
Like
like
astral
joint-
projection.
yeah,
like a joint dream. Yeah, it's so weird. So was she dreaming Were we dreaming astral project? I never thought of it being astral projection.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she was sleeping.
Maybe I astral projected to the yard, and she was dreaming of looking out the window.
Maybe.
If your whole
Interesting.
family,
I never thought about that, man.
You know, you would have been burned at the
Very
stake many
interesting.
years ago.
Yeah, for that
So-
crazy ass
She's a
story.
She's a witch. She can read. And she astral projects. Bless her, but she reads.
Gosh, that's wild.
Yeah, I always thought that was so weird. And it's so simple. Just like a dream. I was just like, I had this weird dream about because you have to sleep in this room.
Weird.
And like, I saw a face looking out of your window, and she was like, I had a dream of you walking out by my window. And I was like, what?
It is so weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It was just, but it was like simple. There's nothing more to it than that.
Okay, well, I think it's kind of like a, what do they call it? Sleeps.
Yeah.
Oh.
God, that's
But
terrifying.
it was, well, I didn't know that's, like, I don't know if that's what it
Yeah.
is, right? So
Okay.
I'm like, I was like waking up and I couldn't move my body, which made me think sleep paralysis, right?
Right?
And then I feel someone in the room and the bed starts to shake, and it's like, it's shaking so violently that my vision is like, I can't, I'm
Okay.
trying to like focus on something, and it's like shaking because something's climbing up on it, and I feel it.
no!
Yes, and then like just as soon as it's like about to like, I can feel it climbing up. I like,
Oh my
I jolt
God.
and I breathe. You know, I'm like, it's like I couldn't breathe the whole time. But then whenever, so it happened this one time, and I usually have to take sleep aid because I have insomnia terribly. Like, and I work all the time. You know, so I don't like if I don't sleep, I'm not going to function. And what I
Right.
do, I have to really be present. It's happened a bunch of times, and I just remembered the last time that it happened that it was happening, and then I was like, is this sleep paralysis? Because I don't see anything, I just feel like something's there.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
But it freaks me out too, because I'm like, why am I so scared? I know everything's okay. Like, it takes me a little while to like calm myself down and be like, you're okay, everything's
Do you usually
okay.
sleep on your back when that happens?
I am asleep on my back when that happens, but I usually,
I get like that too.
yeah, like, and it's just like, and the bed's shaking, and I'm like trying to convince myself the bed's not shaking. It's like I refuse to accept that this is happening to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Damon! Like, I'm just terrified. I'm just so scared. But, you know, like, I Googled it because
It sounds
it's
like
sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't see. You guys watch that show? I think it's on Netflix.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that show.
It's such a good show. Well, you know when she's seeing that demon,
Yeah.
George, and like she like does that thing because it's sleep paralysis, and she figures it out. That is not what happened to me.
No.
But if I saw something like that, I probably would freak out. I don't think I would ever.
I need
sleep
to watch
again.
the new.
It was good. It was good.
Was it as good as the first season?
Y'all didn't hear that. That was my nails, my acrylics clicking. No.
You guys have planted all kinds of seeds in my brain. I'm like,
I gotta work through this for at least the next 48 hours.
well, I think it was a great time.
Oh man, talk about some spooky stuff, man.
Yeah. It was spooky. The
It was
lights
crazy.
are the curtains are drawn. The lights are dimmed. We're all, you know, like
Crisscross.
crisscross applesauce around a small table on the floor.
You know, though, I love hearing real accounts from people.
Yeah.
Me
like,
too.
that
It's
you
so
know
relatable. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, it's just
credible,
relatable.
right.
Like, you know, when somebody posts something spooky that happened to them, and then people in the comments on Facebook will be like, "Oh, this happened to me," and this happened to me. I'll just like go for like hours.
Me too.
reading
Yeah,
those
me too.
stories.
Same.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Scrolling.
So that's why I'm like, seriously, I just hope like listeners out there, if you guys have any
Listeners.
stories, like please, I want to hear them. Like,
Yeah.
they're just my favorite.
I know. I would love to be able to like have people who are like write in like, well, here's my experience.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we can like read it like authentically.
Yeah,
Read
if
it.
you want us to like read out a story or something, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Love to do that.
Oh, just hook us up.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. I had the best time.
Oh,
the best
it was so great. You
We
should
need to
do
do
this
more.
more often.
I know.
I promise we will. And
Yeah.
if we do end up ghost hunting, we will.
Oh, we
vlog,
will.
we
We're
will
gonna.
TikTok, we
It's
will
gonna
do all
happen.
that stuff.
We'll
Yes.
TikTok it.
I'm telling them, not you.
Oh,
I know.
yes.
we
I know. We know. I'm telling the listeners.
listeners, the listeners.
Yes, we're discussing going ghost hunting.
It could be really fun, and we'll
Yeah.
see. But thank you so much for having me, guys. This was the greatest time. I love talking about trauma
And bonding over
and
it.
bonding over it. So we now have what you might call a trauma bond of our
Yeah.
shared horror innexes.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So you guys can follow us on Instagram. We are on Facebook, which is Spooky Babes Club VIP. And
Is it VIP?
no, I don't know.
No, it's just Spooky Babes Club.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Our you can
I don't know.
follow us on Instagram, which is Spooky Babes Club _
yes.
and then our email, which is spookybabesclubpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. So send in your spooky stories.
Yes, please do.
Okay, love you so much, and
Remember to
stay spooky, babes.